Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. Well, as you probably know, we do continue with more with New Japan Pro Wrestling with World Tag League with Day 5. Now, we're only going to focus on the A block matches only. Now, as you know, we already focused with them on Day 1 and Day 3. So we will see how far advanced they'll get. And of course, there'll be some interesting matches we definitely don't want to miss out. And then, of course, we move on with AEW Dynamite coming in the aftermath of Full Gear. But the real question we ask ourselves, what's next? Well, as you probably know, we begin the commencement of the Continental Classic. We will see, of course, who will be making their first 3 points, much, of course, like we see in New Japan. And, of course, we'll be seeing another semifinal a match for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Title Tournament. So who will walk out? Will it be the Sisters of Sins or the Babes of Wrath, which is gonna be a very interesting matchup, and plenty others as well. Unfortunately, as you probably may or may not have been aware of now, apparently I thought we were going to have Evolve to review. Apparently I went on Tubi, nothing was posted for any new episodes, which is a real bummer. But however, that will not stop me to do these 2 reviews. But, like always, we'll wrap up our episode, as always, with some news updates. Give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information has been unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's begin. So, as I said, we're continuing with more with New Japan with World Tag League. Day 5 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League. So, as I said earlier, we're going to focus on the A block matches only. Now, as you know, the A block matches recently had their matches on Day 1 and Day 3. So we will see now what happens on Day 5. Now, some wrestlers have already began to have their 2 points on Day 3, but others will try to advance further. Now, our first match, we have the House of Torturers, or as I like to call them, the House of Losers, Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens, takes on Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji. Now, of course, obviously, we know that Gabe Kidd has this disdain towards the House of Torture due to the fact of what they did. As you know, not too long ago, the War Dogs had a bit of a war with them. Now, of course, we know that Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji are not idiots. I'm sure they've been expecting them to play their dirty tricks as we always known them to do. But it failed miserably because in the end it was the Gene Blaster that took out Yujiro Takahashi, all thanks to Yota Tsuji, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. So basically, in this manner, Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd currently have 4 points, but however, the record stands for with 2 wins and 1 loss. But as for, of course, the House of Losers, 0. I hope they end up in the bottom. Now, our next match, we have Shuji Ishikawa and El Desperado taking on, of course, Satoshi Kojima and Taichi. Now, of course, these two teams currently have 2 points each, but the real question is who will advance between them. Now, it's going to be a very interesting matter, but don't forget, guys, both Taichi and El Desperado used to be part of one of the most dangerous and deadliest groups back in the day, Suzuki-gun, and now they're opposite of tracks. Now, of course, I'm sure Taichi's thinking, this is interesting to be opposite side of this guy, even though they're both Hantai together, along with Kojima. But I think many of us might have thought there was no way this is going to be. This is more of a bias match for some who are fans of Despi and Taichi. But I wasn't too sure where this is going to go until, of course, there was a pinfall by what's his name, by El Desperado onto, of course, Kojima, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, just like that, Tsuji and Despi gets 4 points. And I mean, this is another second loss to Taichi and Kojima. I don't know how they're going to bounce back from these 2 losses, but we will see where that goes. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the War Dragons, Drilla Maloney and Shingo Takagi. And, of course, these 2 guys are no strangers to their opponents. And I'm talking about the other members of the House of Losers. We're talking about Don Fale and Evil. It's no question that both these 2 guys, in their own respected factions, had dealt with them previously. I mean, Shingo, as what used to be LIJ, knows that Evil used to be a member until he betrayed Naito. And of course, Drilla Maloney knows the kind of person Evil is when he turned his back on, tried to pretend that, that they're the real Bullet Club, even though they're not. So that kind of sets it up. But of course, we know that Maloney and possibly Shingo know perfectly well that they will do definitely their dirty tricks as always. I mean, we've always seen these losers try to trick everybody, and that's exactly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to prove their dominance by cheating, and that's exactly what they did. And one moment I did like is when the guy helped out, of course, and give a little pound on the dick onto Evil, even though that's something that Dick Togo would do. Well, apparently they got a taste of their own medicine. But unfortunately, that effing Dick decided to get involved and throw powder in the eyes of Shingo, and just like that, Evil applied everything is evil. 1, 2, 3. Just like that, they won. I mean, this is the second loss by Shingo and Drilla Maloney. But I have to say, this loss that they had against those losers was not their fault, because they should have known better that, of course, the House of Losers would definitely try to cheat their way through. It's no one's fault on this match, but they should have known better that this was something that Evil will definitely try to do. But unfortunately, of course, it's the last thing we need is for the House of Losers obtaining 4 points, leaving them with just 1 loss and 2 wins. But as for the War Dragons, with 2 losses and one win, which of course they have to bounce back on this one, even though this one, I like to say, this match for them was not something it was anybody's fault. They should have known better that they could have got better protection from this. Now, our main event, we have Bolton Oldleg and Toru Yano taking on Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. Now, it's no secret about Bishamon. They are a well-decorated tag team, and not to mention 3-time World Tag League winners, multiple 3-time, I think 2 or 3-time tag team winners. Of course, that sets it up right there. And of course, this will have to put Yano and Oleg in their best possible fighting spirit they possibly have to do, because they're not facing any slouches. But I'm sure they have. I'm sure Bushiman will definitely have to watch out. Oh, my monitor, yeah, that. So they have to be careful. But unfortunately, Yano ended up on the wrong side of Shoto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, pinned by Goto. They win the match, getting themselves 4 points. However, this match ended up with 4 points each from both sides. However, and I like to make a note here, nobody on this block is undefeated. So you probably can guess that right about now. So the only team currently at the bottom is just Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens, but we'll see how far they will go from there. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's move on with our next review, AEW Dynamite. Okay, final review. AEW Dynamite. As you probably already know, we entered the aftermath, or the fallout after, of course, of Full Gear. We witnessed the crowning of AEW Tag Team Champions, AEW World Champion, and everything else. But, as you probably know, we have begun the stages of the Continental Classic, both Blue and Gold League. But the real question is who will gaining their first 3 points. And of course, we have one semifinal match for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Title Tournament. So we'll get to that as well. Now, let's begin from the very first beginning. We start with the Gold League of the Continental Classic. We have a bit of a showdown between the Don Callis family, Kyle Fletcher and Kazuchika Okada. Now, I'm sure Don Callis, that Snake, would say that in some capacity, probably it makes no sense, it makes no any difference, because if either one of them win, it's in the Don Callis family. But this is not the first time that Fletcher actually beat Okada, but the real question is, can he do it again? There were various moments in this match you would have thought one would beat the other, but in the end, it was Kyle Fletcher that did it once again, 2 times already. He actually pinned Okada with the roll-up, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So he gets his first 3 points in, of course, the Gold League. Now, we did see a bit of an interview with Lex Luger talking to Kenny Omega. Of course, you all saw what happened in Full Gear, where it seems that he reunited with his fellow elite buddies, the Young Bucks. So, there's that. And then we did see them showing up. So the obvious question is, are they going to reunite? Are they going to have another run? Well, we'll just have to wait and see from there. Now, we continue on with the semifinals of the AEW Women's World Tag Team Tournament. We have the Sisters of Sin, Sky Blue and Julia Jade, versus the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Holly and Willow Nightingale. Now, of course, it's no secret that, of course, the Sisters of Sin will do whatever it takes to win, like using unnecessary tactics such as try to use weapons, try to blind the ref, or whatever. But man, this match was brutal to the bone. You would have assumed right from the start the Sisters would have taken this one, but nope. It was Willow Nightingale that prevailed when she applied the Dr. Bomb onto Julia Hart, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. So that means they're in the semifinals. But the real question is, who will be their opponents? Will it be the Timeless Love Bombs, Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm, or will it be Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir? So we'll see about that. Now, Samoa Joe, along with the Ops, were celebrating their victory over what just transpired this past Saturday in Full Gear. And of course, Hook was there too as well. We all saw what exactly happened. But the party itself was interrupted with the arrival of both former AEW World Champions. We're talking about Swerve and Hangman. Swerve brought, of course, a staple gun, while Hangman brought a chain. And they beat up, of course, the Ops Dojo dudes to a pulp. I mean, Swerve actually stapled some of them. Hangman used the chain on them. But we did see a double hanging with the chain on 2 of those idiots. But the real question is, should, of course, Samoa Joe be concerned? So we'll just have to wait and see what happens until then. Now, as we continue with more of the Continental Classic, we are now entering with the Blue League. we have Jon Moxley versus Mascara Dorada. Now, of course, Jon Moxley, you probably can tell he is limping just a slight bit due to the fact that he lost to Kyle O'Reilly this past Saturday in Full Gear. He even mentioned that, there's no time to celebrate. You have to prepare for the next match and all that. But man, I have to say, Mascara Dorada did do whatever it takes to win, but it did not do any good for him whatsoever because he ended up choked out. And just like that, it was completely over. Jon Moxley gained 3 points. But however, we did see the presence of Timeless Toni Storm making her presence known. Now remember, boys and girls, in Full Gear, she and Mina Shirakawa, aka known as the Timeless Love Bombs, won the match, a 4-way match, to name the stipulation in their semifinals. Well, it's already been decided, so she decided to tell Marina Shafir in her face that the match is going to be a hardcore holiday death match. Now, I'm sure Marina Shafir does not like this idea. I mean, she probably thinks it makes no difference. I don't know. It seems like Jon Moxley, she must be crazy, but she's not backing down. So this is going to be a very interesting match. Now, we haven't heard what Megan Bayne would say, but Toni Storm did indicate it. This will happen next week. So I can't wait to see it. Now, we did see an interview with Chris Statlander. As you probably know, she retained the AEW Women's World Championship against Mercedes Moné. But the real question we ask ourselves, many people ask her, what's next? Well, we don't know, because she said that you have to look in the past, present, and the future. So I don't think it matters because, of course, it's like she's calling out, I want you to step up, come at me. So the real question is, who will do that? I mean, there's plenty competitors, so we'll just have to wait and see. Now, our next match, we continue with the Gold League of the Continental Classic. We have Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight. Many people might have thought in every capacity that Darby Allin was going to win because he is the heavy favorite in the whole thing. I mean, you would not expect that whatsoever. I thought the match was pretty good. I mean, we all know Darby Allin is already battered and bruised. I mean, he is a resilient individual that he would go the distance, no matter how hurt he is from, of course, the previous matches he's ever been. But in the end, it was Kevin Knight with the UFO splash, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he gained his first 3 points, leaving Darby at 3. But we did see a sign of respect between both Darby and Kevin Knight. Of course, I mean, Kevin Knight has no issues towards Darby. He respects him as someone who, who fought for AEW from the very beginning, and that's something he cannot take away from him. But we'll see what happens, what's next for these guys. Now, with the result of Hook What Happened, of course, this past Saturday in Full Gear, the real question is, what does Eddie Kingston have to say about that? Now, he was not aware about exactly what happened until it was over. He was dealing with Shibata, and then later he found out about Hook, what he has done. So he's like, fine. And then he called out Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe called him out, saying that he deserves an AEW World Title match. But he's like, I don't know if I deserve it. But however, how about have me face Shibata, on Collision, that sort of thing. So Eddie Kingston knows that he's probably not worthy at this point, but we'll see. Now, our next match, which is our main event, is part of the Continental Classic Blue League. We have Claudio Castagnoli and Orange Cassidy. Now, of course, it's no secret that probably Claudio despises Orange Cassidy for who he is because of the way he is, how he behaves, how he is a unique, different type of wrestler, which is something that the Death Riders despise. But, of course, that will not stop Orange Cassidy. I mean, he may be a bit of an unorthodox wrestler, but he is a wrestler through and through, no matter what people would say. But unfortunately, Claudio walked away with the win when he applied a pop-up uppercut, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But of course, the Death Riders show up to try to beat the crap out of Orange Cassidy, but we did see all the participants of the Continental Classic to show up, and just like that, it was a total beatdown by everybody. So we'll see what happens the next time. So, but right now, we are officially done with AEW. Let's move on with a very short news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. We only have two updates on that. As you know, GCW will be making their way next week in Seattle on December 5th, and we have the Say You Will event. Match has been announced. We have Shotzi Blackheart taking on the bad boy Joey Janela, which it's gonna be awesome, or as Shotzi would say, balls to the wall. And then we have Jersey Championship Wrestling with Round Ball Rock that will take place on the 19th of December. It was announced there's going to be a no holds barred match featuring Tom Shire and what's his name? Tombstone Jesus taking on Beast Dog, better known as Beastman, and Mad Dog Connolly. So that's pretty much it for upcoming events. Now we do have some interesting developments here. Many of you may know Lacey Lane, or as of course Caden Carter back in WWE. It was reported by Fightful Select that she is now officially signed with AEW. Now we do know she made appearances before on both AEW and Ring of Honor. So the obvious questions many of us have probably asked, where will she go next? Looks like it's been answered. So, but I did read a very interesting interview where she mentioned she felt the WWE have often made her feel like she was a failure. Like maybe they set her out to be a failure. I'm not sure. And maybe she wants to prove them wrong by going to AEW. I don't know if that's the case. But I'm glad that AEW has picked her up. For whatever reasons, we'll see how she'll do there. Now, for our final update on developments here, many of you remember a YouTube sensation from Japan named Fuwa-chan, who recently made an appearance on the last big pay-per-view with Stardom, announcing that by the end of this year, in the last show of the year, she'll be making her appearance as a full-time wrestler. Well, recently she has been participating in Stardom, but not as a wrestler, basically doing second duties. Now, for those who don't understand this term, let me explain it to you. Second duties are basically the people on the outside of the ring, those who are making sure that their, you know, jackets, robes, whatever they use when they come out of their entrance, they're well taken care of. They hold on to the belt and all that. They try to bring out the fans to cheer behind the back, get the fans while going behind the person, that sort of thing. So that's basically her duties that she does. But oftentimes they make sure that the ring is stable enough, well taken care of, that the things are tightened up, that sort of thing. So that she's been doing. I'm glad that she's learning that, because we have seen many wrestlers have done that before, especially within Stardom. I mean, I've seen Waka do it. I've seen some wrestlers like Saida do it. Kurara, Sakura, various others. But it's great that she's learning this type of thing in the business. We'll see what happens until then. But I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we probably don't know for sure how it's going to be due to Ring of Honor, because it's Thanksgiving. We have, of course, Ring of Honor and all this other stuff. So we'll just have to wait and see how that will progress. But if things don't go well, I might have to review, of course, the much recent shows from Stardom and possibly Mighty Gold to catch up, because I'm behind on those. So as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. We'll catch up with much of the Yoshi wrestling scene as much as possible. So we'll leave things as it is. Until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.